All right, let's see. Good afternoon, everyone. Mike, they're slowly but surely coming in, so we'll give it a few seconds before we get started. Good afternoon to you.
Sure. Good afternoon, too. Hope everyone's all well. Lauren's off camera now because she has a young one at home at 6. So she prefers to stay off camera, but she's still going to do the introduction. Hope everyone's doing well. Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm going to allow our numbers to steady a little bit, but while I do that, I will get the presentation started. We've got some news. I mean, you know, I do my normal intro to the SBDC, but we also have an update on that EOG grant program that I've spoken about a couple of times. So I will start the intro and then I'll dive into that. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, Mike, let me go ahead and share my screen. There it is, but where are my controllers?
We see that.
All right, can you see my slides okay?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lauren Simpson. I am with the SBDC, or the Small Business Development Center. We're a national program with over 1,000 locations across the country, and we offer no-cost services to local small businesses. Now, our services are at no cost to you because your tax dollars have already taken care of our fees. Since you've already paid for our services via your tax dollars, you might as well partake in our resources. So for the Los Angeles network, which is the network that we are a part of, myself and Mike, you can see our locations on the map in front of you. And so our network covers or services the Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and Ventura counties. Again, those our centers, our physical centers are on the map in front of you. You'll see we're in Camarillo, Santa Clarita, Pasadena, all the way over to Laverne, throughout Los Angeles, the South Bay, and then down into Long Beach. So here's a deeper dive into what it is that we do and why you need to get in contact with us. We offer no cost business advising. And so currently you're able to meet one-on-one with one of our business experts via Zoom or a telephone call, totally up to you. And then, and we have experts in various industries, from construction to the trades to if you're looking to go from handyman construction, or if you're looking to start a brand new business, if you're looking to grow your business, we have resources for you. If you need a marketing plan, if you need some assistance with developing a business plan, we can help. Then we also offer virtual trainings, and those are comprehensive workshops that allow your business to adapt and grow. Much like, of course, the workshop you've joined today. So please, we are here to help you. Please get in contact with us. You can reach us by phone. That number is 866-588-7232, or you can go online. You can go to smallbizla.org/new client. If you are outside of our service area, so you are not located within the Santa Barbara, Ventura, or Los Angeles counties, please be sure to go to americassbdc.org/find-your-SBDC. So let me stop my screen share, Mike, but what I'm gonna do is pull up the landing page for that grant program we were just speaking about.
And while you're doing that, a couple other points. I'm gonna be showing you how to do a competitive analysis today. Please keep the questions in the Q&A and please keep them on topic. If you're going to ask a question about some other topic, I'm going to refer you to an SBDC advisor. And by the way, everybody on this workshop should have a primary SBDC advisor. So perhaps, Lauren, you can put the contact information in the chat room when you're ready.
Yes, I'll be sure to do that. I'll put the that in the chat, as well as a link to previous sessions that we've had, so that our attendees can take a look at those too.
Great.
So here's the EOG grant program. You all have heard us speak about it for the past few weeks, since honestly the beginning of this month, I'd say. I wanted to show you, if I scroll a bit, phase 1, you know, it started the end of January, the 25th. Well, the deadline has been extended. It's no longer today as the deadline, but it goes into March 25th. Again, phase 1, which opened on January 25th, now extended to March 25th. So be sure to take a look at the phase 1 requirements and eligibility, and go ahead and apply if it pertains to you. When it comes to phase 2, it has officially launched today. There was actually a press conference a couple of hours ago announcing the launch. So be sure to dive into this website. I'll be sure to put the link into the chat, Mike, so that everyone can refer to it. But know that phase 2 is now open. They are awarding grants of $15,000 for micro businesses under 100K. Again, take a look. And the deadline for phase 2 currently is May 20th of 2023. So we are excited to launch phase 2. It is now open finally. And just be sure to dive into the landing page and the website so that you all can check out the details. Know that we have trainings weekly, Monday through Thursday. There are trainings Monday and Wednesday, which are in Spanish, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are in English. So we honestly just finished up our English training. And then we have a support telephone number, Mike. So you're able to call in and ask questions to our call center. If you have any questions related to, eligibility or filling out the application itself. Now, if you have questions and it's more of a tech question, you press the button on the application and there's something techie that's going wrong, there's a phone number for that. And then again, you can just take a look at our tutorials. We've got all kinds of stuff. So Mike, I'm gonna drop that link in the chat and allow you to begin.
I will in a minute. Will you please put up that slide, Lauren, again for the eligibility, so there's clarification on this. What we don't want to do is take calls from people, advisors, when the information is right there. So please keep in mind for the second phase, even for the first phase, you had to be in existence conducting business as of at least December 1st, 2019. There's a self-certification for the COVID pandemic. And for the second one, you are not eligible if you are in the city of Los Angeles unless you're a street vendor. You are eligible if you're outside the city of Los Angeles in LA County. So please keep in mind these qualifications. There's a $50,000 cap for the first phase, and the second phase has a larger cap. Now, if you have any questions about this, you're going to put that information into the chat room, right? Regarding a phone number, et cetera. Correct, Lauren?
That's correct. I'll drop it in right now.
Okay, I think we have some questions going on. You might want to address Carlos Barragan's questions in the Q&A, Lauren, regarding the grant program. With that, I'm going to move forward with our presentation. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to conduct a competitive analysis. Every business needs to do a competitive analysis. And if you haven't done it, perhaps this might be able to help you. By the way, GB cannot make us today. For those of you who've been with us for a while, you know GB Bazaj, who is a CPA, often joins us for these presentations and does his own presentations, but he's tied up with a flight delay. And I'm sure many of you know there's thousands of flights that have been canceled for these past couple of days and into the next couple of days because of the weather. So we provide, as Lauren said, free workshops and free counseling sessions. Take advantage of it. We're funded by a grant from the Small Business Administration, a grant from the state of California. We're supported by colleges and universities throughout the country. And if you plan to move to a different state, we can refer you to an SBDC in that location, as I have for many folks who have moved out of state. So what is the purpose for competitive analysis? To understand your competitor's strengths and weaknesses in comparison to your own, and to find that gap in the marketplace. It will help you recognize how you can enhance your business strategy. This is talking to a strategic advantage. And that is what you're looking for. Get you a better picture of the competition. It's going to take some effort, take some time, take some research. Maybe hire some people to help you out. But it's one of those things that you should do. And you should update it every so often, once a year, minimally, know your competitors. Know thyself and know your competitors. So what are the couple of reasons you might want to conduct a competitive analysis? Benchmarking. You're going to have a point of reference against which you can measure growth. And you can have benchmarks for things like engagement, social media reach, impressions. If you do not know what those terms mean, you need to reach out to us, and people like Lauren, who, by the way, is a marketing expert, a digital marketing expert, can help you understand what those terms mean and how to get that information and data out of your website information and other social media platforms. There's something called Google Analytics, which should attach to your website, which will help you determine some of these numbers. And additionally, Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, all the social media platforms have a means for you to measure these digital metrics. You want to identify and fill crucial gaps in your business. So one of the reasons for conducting a competitive analysis is you find those gaps. There might be some roles, some technology, some products, some services, and competitors that you do not have in place that you might want to have in place. So you decide which gaps you should fill to meet or beat the competition. For example, your competitors, at least one or two competitors, may have dedicated customer support personnel. Do you? If you don't, you might want to consider that. And even if they don't, maybe you put some in, and then you have a one-up on your competition. This all leads to the articulation of a unique value proposition. So a unique value proposition is a statement that clearly tells your potential customers and current customers how they benefit from your offer. How will your products and services address their needs and solve their problems? And what makes your offer different from the competition? It's often called a unique selling proposition. Now, when I ask people what the unique value proposition, I always get the generic answer. It's we have the best customer service. Well, that's not good enough. That's not a real answer. Okay, we have the highest quality. That's not a good answer. That doesn't tell me what your unique value proposition is. Tell me about the benefits of your products. That's what counts. So what makes a good value proposition? Clarity, easy to understand. It communicates the concrete results a customer will get from purchasing and using the products and services. It says how it's different or better than competitors offer. Avoid the hype, like never seen before. This is amazing. This is the best in the marketplace. Avoid the business jargon, value-added interactions. No one's going to know what that means, or if they know what it means, they're not going to care. That has no real meaning, okay? And it should be easily understood very quickly, okay? Now, there's a distinction between the value proposition for your company and the value proposition for your product or service. Now, here you have a couple of good examples of value propositions. Geico, we're all seeing this. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. It's a great value proposition. Clear, distinct, tells the story very fast, everyone gets it. Dr. Dre is brilliant. He sold his company, got billions of dollars for it. And look at the imagery you have here. People aren't hearing all the music. It speaks to all of us, I feel, the way this was presented. So those are two excellent examples, in my opinion, of unique value proposition. I'm going to show you one more. This is the one I created, not quite a value proposition. I take clients privately. I have 2 finance degrees and a law degree. I came up with this when the numbers don't make sense. Now, it's not a value proposition, but it indirectly indicates that I know what I'm doing. And on the side, you see all the stuff I can do. It's another example of an indirect value proposition. Let me move forward from here. So how do you conduct a competitive analysis? First of all, you set your goals, identify your competitors, create competitor profiles, identify their products and services, pricing, place, promotion. This is all MBA stuff, 4 Ps, but it's real, it's not theoretical. Perform a SWOT analysis for yourself as well as for your competitors. For those who have not heard what SWOT means, it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. There are companies that formally go through this analysis once a year. Even if you're just a single sole proprietor, you should still do this analysis. Okay, set your goals, identify your competitors, create their profiles, identify their products and services, pricing, place, promotional strategies, and do the SWOT analysis. And then you're saying to yourself, well, how do we do a SWOT analysis? Okay, so there's templates for that. And we continue on. But first, we define our goals. You know, some of the goals could be study the market scenery. Maybe you want to predict market demand and supply. Maybe you want to just rethink your business strategy. I'm going through this now with multiple clients. Forecast market trends and patterns. Recognize opportunities, acknowledge the threats. Calculate your competitor's next move. That's an important one. Or redefine your own objectives. So all these are very, very good reasons that are goals associated with a competitive analysis. Now, I'm curious, in the chat room, would you please list out whether or not you have done a competitive analysis within the past year, in 2022, or even in 2021? I'd be curious to see if anyone how many people have actually done one. Let me move on from there. So there are direct and indirect competitors. Direct competition is a term that refers to the companies or publishers who sell and market the same products or services as your business. So oftentimes you'll be comparing against direct competitors. So your customers will evaluate both you and your direct competitors before making a purchase decision or converting. Okay. There are indirect competitors. There are companies that don't sell and market the exact same products, but they're still competing for your customers. I'm talking about direct competitors, not necessarily indirect competitors. Let me go ahead. Thank you, Pete. Some people, oh, chat is disabled. So put in the Q&A if you have conducted a competitive analysis in the past couple of years. I'm just curious. So identify your direct competitors. Number one, do market research. So you take a look at the market, you figure out which companies are selling the same product or service that competes with yours. You talk to your sales team. If you're in a sales team, you talk to yourself, I guess. And you find out which competitors, you see that they're bumping up against, right? Who are you losing bids to? Who are you losing business to? Those are your direct competitors, all right? Then you can be able to take a closer look at those companies, their product and marketing efforts. You talk to existing customers. Your customers are the key to unlocking direct competitors. Once they decide to go with you, you can ask questions of your customers, even with e-commerce, right? Because they often reveal unexpected competitors that you haven't even thought about. Additionally, during the sales process, you as a sales team can also ask your customers which businesses they're considering. If they haven't decided on yours, your team may be able to speak to them about their needs to better understand what it is they're looking for and why, what are their considerations. Obviously, you can check online, social media, including forums, Facebook, Snapchat. There's like 20, 30 different social media platforms you can go to, in addition to Yelp and databases, right? Plus Quora and Reddit. If you're not familiar with Quora and Reddit, become familiar with it. Plus information there. Let's see. And Mr. Moreno, you didn't do a comprehensive one, but you did one. Kudos to you. Let me continue on. So what you want to do is create competitor profiles. So you check the websites for your competitors and you look at their company information, their product and services information. There's lots and lots of information out there in the public domain, either freely offered by your competitors because they're trying to obviously promote themselves, or through social media sites, through public and private databases. Dun & Bradstreet, Meta, and a whole host of other people collect data on private businesses and public businesses. Public businesses have to report stuff to the SEC all the time, and there's all sorts of information on public businesses. On privately held businesses, you can still find a whole host of information. I'm literally going through it right now. When I'm done with this, I have to go back to doing a competitive analysis for a client of mine. And there's public filings. Now, public filings is not just filings with the SEC. For example, someone will have to go to a city to get a license to open a new brick and mortar location or to move there. Stay on top of the public filings. See who's filing DBAs. See who's filing for licenses in your city. Check the database at the California Secretary of State for business name searches. Go to the trademark sites for the US Patent and Trademark Office. You're gonna find out, once you get into this, you're gonna find a whole host of information out there that you would never thought you'd be able to get. Just Google it. Google names and see what comes up. Obviously review their ads, review print information, look at catalogs, look at flyers. Listen to their YouTube channel, because many people have YouTube channels. Look at their TikTok profiles and what they're posting out there. You'll get the information. Now, obviously with customers, you can do customer surveys, you can have focus groups with potential customers, you can provide questionnaires, and talk to people. We all have professional personal networks. We all have other people we work with as peers. Maybe you had former employees, you have current employees. In some cases, it's a very, very close-knit group, particularly in a specific industry in a specific geographic area, that you can talk to. I have my own martial arts dojo in Mid-City, LA. I know every martial arts instructor within 10 miles. They know me. We run into each other at tournaments. We talk to each other periodically. We join the same conferences. And I've been to their places. They've been to mine, not all of them. I invite them to mine. We're frenemies. They're actually friends more than enemies. The point is, I know people around me that's doing the same stuff. Okay, get to know your competitors. Obviously, check the review sites. Go to the Better Business Bureau, go to Glassdoor, go to Yelp, and every other site you can think of to find information about your competitors. And try out their products and services for yourself. Order it. See what the ordering process is like. You may find that their ordering process is so much better than yours, or you might find that their ordering process is horrible, terrible, almost kind of average. But it's all useful information. And actually try out their products and services. You can take the route of using hidden shoppers, like contacting friends and family members. Hey, why don't you go into that shop? Or why don't you go order this and tell me what the experience is like? No problem with that. Talk to your suppliers. Oftentimes, your common suppliers. I order products from a martial arts uniform place that everybody goes to. Okay, everybody in almost every country goes to. They're local here. I talk to that supplier all the time to find out what's going on with the people that in my industry. You can conduct surveillance. You can watch product moving in and out of warehouses in different world locations. You can sit on a bench and watch people coming out of a store. Perfectly acceptable. Do not trespass. Do not violate privacy or other laws. But I have clients that have actually done this and it works. They're knowing how busy a particular bar is at times of the day, or a restaurant or a store. Perfectly acceptable. And by the way, other people are doing it to you. Now, how to do it for e-commerce, you have to look at their sites. Now, somebody has mentioned in Q&A that they sent emails, called, and nothing happened. So this person, Lauren, in the Q&A would like an SBDC advisor.
I got it, Mike.
Okay, thank you. This is a SWOT analysis template. You should answer these questions based upon the results from your competitive investigation to map out the SWOT for your competition and your own business. So you might ask yourself, what do we do well? What do they do well? What do our customers say we do well? You may think you're doing stuff great, but your customers say, maybe not so much, okay? What is your unique selling proposition? We'll come back to that one. Do we have strong brand awareness? Do we have customer loyalty? You can say yes, but do the numbers prove it? What are your returning visitors to your site? Okay. Do you have influence with your suppliers and distributors? What unique assets do you have? Do you have a patent? I know companies have 40 patents or 100 patents. Okay. Or do you have a trademark? What skills do you have that your competitors don't have? Right? I know companies that have technical skill that no other companies possess because they have trained their own employees and they came up with the patents. Do you have a lot of cash in the bank, strong capital? Or do you have access to capital? Are your profit margins wonderful? Okay. Well, what are your weaknesses? Maybe you don't have capital. Maybe you have technological constraints. Every company is subject to constraints. It's called the theory of constraints. Constraints could be in the form of capital, could be in the form of technology, could be in the form of personnel, could be regulatory constraints. It could be geographic constraints. It could be logistical constraints. It could be machine constraints. It could be intellectual constraints. If you can determine what your constraints are, and that's what weaknesses are, you find ways to break through those constraints. Maybe you hire this skill set. Maybe you bring in new technology, okay? And if you can break through those constraints, you move to another level. Most businesses don't think of it in those terms. They know they're short on cash. They know they don't have enough people, but they haven't formally identified what the constraints are and developed a plan to break through those constraints. That's what you want to do. And that's how you succeed. And that's how you win, by knowing your constraints and the constraints of your competitors. Look at the opportunities around you, okay? Do your competitors have weaknesses that you can benefit from? I'm going to show you some examples in here, right? Is the target market growing or shifting? The baby boom generation, my generation, we're in our 60s and 70s. We're going to be aging out, so to speak, in some ways, right? So our market will continue to shrink. My parents' generation is continuing to shrink simply because of natural factors, okay? Are we your target market? Maybe not. Maybe a target market are the teenagers that are going to be coming up. That's growing, right? Is it an untapped pain point? Is there a niche market? Are there upcoming events that you might participate in, like a trade show or a conference, okay? I go to tournaments. Are there geographic expansion opportunities? Is there new sources of financing? Crowdfunding, crowdfunding, crowdfunding. We get a lot of people that come to us and say, I need money. Yeah, you do. Everybody needs money. Not everybody qualifies for a loan. There's lots of hurdles you have to jump through. And we do have a lot of people get loans, don't get me wrong. But when you don't have the collateral, when you don't have the credit score, when the conditions aren't right, when you don't have the cash flow, the 4 C's, then what do? We say, go to friends and family. That's where it starts. Friends and family can't help you. Then we say, crowdfunding, crowdfunding, crowdfunding. And we can help you with that because crowdfunding was set up to break through a constraint, and that constraint is capital. There's also crowdsourcing, which can help you break through a human constraint by utilizing the sources of the crowd to help you with your particular problem. And crowdfunding is a subset of crowdsourcing, okay? Are there economic trends that could benefit you? Yes, we all know interest rates are going up. No question about it. Is there a way that you can benefit from that? Possibly. You have to think it through. Are there political trends or social trends that could benefit us? Yes. DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, did not exist significantly in the workplace 10 years ago. Now it's exploded. So people have been able to take advantage of it appropriately and generate money for themselves by tapping into that pain point for businesses. And new technology happens all the time. Think about metaverse and cryptocurrency and NFTs. Happens all the time. Are there threats? Absolutely. New competitors, economic problems, wars. What's going to happen to everybody relying on Chinese goods when China invades Taiwan and the seas are closed? Because there's going to be a tax on ships. Do you have a plan B to support your business if your suppliers in China? Or what happens if the Chinese supplier just goes out of business? Or they decide not to support America anymore? Then what are you going to do? How about you try a different source? You better have a plan B. Okay. Are there competitors? Are there societal trends that are going to cause you problems? You have to just think through all of this. I'm going to check the chat room. Okay, there's a link there. Thank you, Lauren. Let me continue on from here. So here's an example that was put out by Venngage of a SWOT analysis. This is a mobile app for delivery. Same day delivery is a strength. 1 hour delivery expectancy is a strength. High quality foods, it's a food product. 200+ drivers, trusted, high product sales exposure. Those are very good strengths. I think that's awesome. Weakness, it's costly. There's no subscriptions, inaccessible to large consumer audience, and bad SEO. That has to do with keywords and backlinks associated on your website, search engine optimization. Opportunities. Well, we can optimize a mobile app. We might be able to attract a larger, wider target audience by focusing on SEO. Okay. And what are the threats? Well, operate at a loss to drive away competition. You can do that only for so long. And there's costly state laws, regulatory issues to oversee grocery delivery. This is a very good SWOT analysis. Okay. Do one for yourself. Now, I'm going to stop my share. And I'm going to bring up a template. I will share this template with Lauren. And if you contact Lauren, she'll be able to send out this presentation as well as the template, a couple of templates. Bear with me while I share it. Lauren, do you see the template, the Excel spreadsheet right now? Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay. Now do you see it?
Almost, yes.
Okay. So I put together this worksheet for our clients. And this is a sample worksheet. And Lauren will send this to you if you ask for it. I like hobby stores and toy stores. So this is an example of how one might go about it. What's going to be more extensive than this? All right. I identified 3 direct competitors. I identified their locations. I identified the years in business. I identified the number of locations and some other key information like, if there's a corporation, an LLC, or potentially any other key information relevant to the business. I then identified what are the sales channels. You have online e-commerce, you have brick and mortar, wholesale, pickup, delivery, subscription, contract, or project. So what are the sales channels for each of these businesses? And in my particular case, in this hypothetical example, I'm not doing wholesale. I'm not doing delivery. Sorry, I'm not buying a van. I'm not doing delivery. I'm not doing subscription, and I'm not doing contract. Okay. So I'm lagging in those areas for this particular hypothetical company versus, for example, ABC company, which has online and brick and mortar and wholesale and pickup and delivery. And then GHI, been in business for 30+ years, supposedly, it's doing almost all of it. So it's the leader in its field in those areas. You should do this for your own competitors and for yourself. I identified some strengths associated with my hobby emporium. I've got technical skill, personalized service, and I've got the support of the community. They love this store, okay? But my weakness might be cash flow. Limited selection, just like many of you, I can't find people. I have to work 15-hour days, 6-7 days a week, because I can't find enough people to support me, okay? Well, ABC store, they have wholesale, they support wholesale buyers. They've been around a while. They have a large selection, but they have negative reviews, poor branding, and poor quality. DEF, great marketing, helpful employees, terrific quality. Cash flow is weak and it's too expensive. GHI, been around a long time, have lots of capital, they have a great reputation, but they're old school. They don't have a lot of followers. I could add a lot more strengths and weaknesses. This is just an example. I'm suggesting You do the same thing. Now, I didn't put in opportunities and threats. I could have. What? How about this? Who's taking my form of payment? My store is little. However, I know people have crypto. So I'm taking crypto in addition to Venmo, credit cards, etc. ABC is taking everything. The GHI is taking mostly everything. DF is taking mostly everything, but not crypto. Okay. And what am I offering? What is everybody offering? RC cars products. Yep, everyone's got them. Everyone's got cars, trucks, trains, planes, and boats. But what about figures and collections? Well, no, my store's not doing that. Okay. And what about Legos and dollhouses and educational? No, my store's not doing that. Now there's the so you can continue to build on something like this. This is an example of a kind of a SWOT analysis. And from this, you can generate a competitive analysis. And actually, this is a competitive analysis. All right, I'm going to show another example. Give me 1 minute. Let's save that. Let me share my screen again. So I downloaded this from HubSpot. HubSpot has a lot of great free tools. And we will provide the spreadsheet, and maybe I'll give you the link to the to this HubSpot one. So there's a 2-feature competitive landscape. Do you see it, Lauren, on the screen yet? Lauren, are you there? Hello? Can anyone address me and let me know if you see the worksheet on the screen? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. So there's a 2-feature competitive landscape. There's a side-by-side competitive landscape. There's a strategic overview. You may not use all of these. You're going to pick the ones that are most appropriate for you. Okay. So here is the 2-feature one. You identify your features, and then you determine who's doing it. Select 2 factors that are important to your business in your marketplace. Okay. Now here, there's a competitive side-by-side analysis where you put your name, their name, explain why company does not meet the feature. A feature might be, I have a dongle and I can connect multiple devices to my dongle, USB dongle, like 8. Whereas many of the other dongles that exist don't have that. So that's a unique value proposition for the people who put out that dongle. Has more ports to access than the other dongles on the marketplace, as an example. Okay. And then there's this as an example of a strategic overview. Obviously, this is just an example. So here's a competitor name by I can't pronounce it. Biglytics. They're located in Boston. They have 200 employees. They have a data analyst solution for B2B companies. They boast a large social following and invest heavily in paid ads that locks a strong blog presence. They have 20 sales reps, etc. They offer customer support at an additional fee. How are you going to respond? How we win? We have 5 tiers allowing for more customization. Well done. Okay. You're going to use the one that's appropriate for you, or maybe use all of them. There's an analysis of competitors based upon their followers by category: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and there's 20 more. Okay. And it's a blog content strategy, and an SEO strategy, and an email strategy. Okay, like a newsletter, subscribe to a homepage, and so on and so forth. Look over here. It's known as a battle card. So, what are the competitive strengths? How do you win against the competitor? What's your response to them? What are their weaknesses? Some case studies or some references. I've seen this presentation a million times, especially on pitch decks, where you list the feature attribute for yourself and then every competitor. Now, if you're trying to raise money, of course, you're going to tick all the boxes because you're going to cherry pick what features or attributes to put on here, and your competitors aren't never going to match all those boxes. For truth in reality, you should put down all the features and attributes you can think of for your products and services and determine where you fit versus your competitor. And that's kind of what I did with the example I showed you. Okay. Another way of doing this is adding in those features or attributes and then ranking them. And here's another SWOT analysis template. And another product or feature. So this particular template, I feel, is really useful, quite flexible, and I believe that'll be useful to you once you get to know how to use it. So we will provide this to you if you write to Lauren, and Lauren's going to put her contact information into the chat room. Okay, and I see some people did indicate that they have done competitive analysis in the chat room. Okay, so that's what I have for today. So I'm going to stop this show and I'm going to ask for any other questions. If we don't have any questions, I'm going to wish everybody a good day, and I expect GB will be back next week. So do we have any other questions?
Hey, Mike, just
Yeah.
or follow up, or just to recap, you mentioned sharing the slides. It looks like we already have a request for those slides, asking for a link to the spreadsheet. But am I correct that you were going to provide the file to me and then?
Yes, I'll provide the file to you.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just added my email to the chat. So anyone who would like to receive that, just shoot me a note and I will get it over to you.
And by the way, I downloaded this from HubSpot. So if you go to HubSpot and you look up competitive analysis and you sign up there, it's free. Then you will be able to access the same file you just saw that HubSpot put together.
Oh, perfect.
Somebody's asking something in the chat room about USPTO. Okay, our Q&A about USPTO. USPTO is the US Patent and Trademark Office. And if you go to the US Patent and Trademark Office, you can do a search. And you can do a search on a keyword, products, companies that have been trademarked. And you can do a search whenever you want. I recommend you do that periodically for your industry to see what trademarks have been issued. None of that, do it periodically for patents. Just stay on top of your industry. That's one way of doing it. Okay, so Lauren, this one's for you. How do you feel about Google ads and how some companies use more advertising? Can you answer that one, Lauren?
I can, yeah. I think that ads, of course, ads in general, so whether it be social media or Google, will definitely further your message, or at least the reach of said message. Excuse me. That said, I think that going to organic route, though it might be slower, a slower route, I think that is a more authentic route to go about. Just exposure, brand awareness, and trying to drive people to your business. So I guess in a nutshell, I think Google ads are great. I would also, if you are a business that has an online presence, think about doing social media ads as well. And, just throw some money towards that way. Depends on what your budget is, but I would put money in a couple of different buckets and see which bucket performs better. And then I would draw all monies to that one bucket. I think it's fine to start small. And then as you start to see the benefit and start to see the growth, then you can increase that budget. But I don't think you need to start with a ton of money. Thank you.
There's another comment here. I was hearing larger companies have a higher daily budget, so it's typically top of the search results. Do you agree with that?
That's very true. Yes. That's why I think the organic route is a ton more beneficial, especially when it comes, or a grassroots route. It's tons more beneficial, especially to those mom and pops and smaller businesses. But also keep in mind, people are paying attention to the fact that these huge companies are serving them a ton of ads. And so I still feel like if you have content that's dynamic, people will find you, they will see you, and they will be intrigued. So concentrate on not the size or not the fact that, it's saturated with people that have a ton of money. just make sure that whatever message you're putting out there, you're doing so authentically and you are, just true to the mission of your business, because people will see that it will resonate.
Thank you, Lauren. And there's a comment about the Facebook ad library. Do you know about that Facebook ad library?
You can. So it says you are able to check Facebook ad library to check what your competitors are promoting. You can. And so you're able to see what they're doing. But again, I think your focus should definitely be on you and your mission, and making sure that when you are putting yourself out there, you're doing so effectively. So please don't start an online or an ad promotion and not have correct CTAs or call to actions. You want to make sure that your messaging is very clear. People know who you are, what it is that you do, and why they need to patron you. And then how to get in contact with you, right, Mike?
Of course.
That's super important.
Of course. There are platforms to allow you to access digital metrics. Google Analytics is one of them, and it connects to your website. And you can also go to paid resources like SEMrush to do a competitive analysis. For example, you might want to see how many keywords you have versus competitors. And before we go down that route, Lauren, you want to explain what a keyword is?
Yeah, so keywords are, if you use Instagram, they're going to be those hashtags. Keywords are words that speak to what your business does or the service it provides. If you're a clothing store, you want to make sure, let me start with actually restaurant. If you're a restaurant and you are niche, let's say you are fresh veggies, from local community gardens or, farm to table, those are going to be keywords that you want to make sure that you're implementing in any of your digital outreach, so that when people are searching, whether it be on social media or even on Google or search engines like Google, that your business rises to the top.
Thank you. So one element of competitive analysis, depending on what you're doing, might be looking at the digital presence and the number of followers and reach and engagement for your competitors. And there's paid resources that you can access in order to get that information, or you can pay for people who specialize in those areas to get access to that information, which might be quite helpful. You can also get paid research industry reports. I get these solicitations all the time regarding industries. Now, some of the stuff I'm getting is cost you $3,000 for the report. I'm not spending $3,000. However, that doesn't mean a company that's doing a couple of $1 million a year wouldn't pay for that report. They will. I have when I was working for companies, because it's a complete breakdown of the industry and trends and competitors, which is quite useful information. So there's also paid research, market research reports you can go to. Lauren, have you ever accessed paid market research reports?
I have used it before. I will say, I don't know that I went the most economic route, because it did come with a price.
Yeah.
But it was valuable information that I was able to use, for the client and create a strategy around.
Exactly. So keep in mind, you can always pay for information as well. Are there any other questions? I don't think there are. Then I'm going to recommend, if you have questions that you come up with later on as you think about what we presented, please set up an appointment with an SBC advisor. You see the contact information on my screen, okay? And we're not going to be addressing any tax questions, any of those questions in this session. Please make an appointment with an SBC advisor, and we will help you out with that. So thank you, Lauren, for your time. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. And I hope you all have a great weekend. See you next week.
Thanks, Mike. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.